Yes, could you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, loud and clear.
Much better.
Very, very much so.
Okay, I'll continue where I left off. I hope I'm not breaking up like I was earlier. Okay, while we were trying to get me back on, I decided I'll go ahead with the new names first, just in case I get disconnected. So for Tenalian Port Allsworth names, Noah Upland, dirt bikes, bicycle lap, Noah Davis, airplanes, soon, Landon Fowler, Newsick, Malachi, Grossman, Snakes, Agaluk, Makia, Music, Atut, Eric, McGee, Airplane, soon, Jordan Ellsworth, Katz, Kuska, Hazel, Being Outside, Samyo, Tyler Smith, Storytelling, Olirak, Harryville, Ty, Gaming, Not Stop, Angel, Adventuring, Up, Akta, Janet, Beading, Tukhluk, Alec, Isukta. Were you able to hear me okay?
Yep, you came in loud and clear. It seems like this connection's a lot better.
Okay, good. I'll continue with the other, yes, I'll continue with the other names. Um, before my Zoom decides to do its own thing. New Halen, Ida, Tuchlik, Bead, Ava, the Rider, Igachta, Ivy, Birds.
Well, it looks like we might have lost Margie again. It says it's on mute, Margie, if you're still there.
So from my end, I hear gurgling when you speak, Justin. So my Zoom is really acting up.
Okay. I can hear you okay right now. I don't know if this is coming into you better.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll try. I'll just keep punching back on and start where I left off. Okay.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you so much. I know it's kind of a hassle sometimes with the connection.
So we have David, Culture, Uchiput, Angela, Play, Aquista, Hagen, Eat, Navasta, Jewel, Blueberry, Surawak, Ayana, Berry Picker, Ikfasta, Bryce, Wolf, Gulhunak, Carter, Moose, Tuntuak, Adrian, Dog, Remukta, Paddy, Teacher, Schoolorista, Aileen, Ryder, Nakista, I'm reader, Bed, Hayden, Daisy, Food, Naka. So Port Hayden, Daisy, Food, Naka, Clarice, Drawing, Bilingok, John, Hunting, Besuchta, Vince, Watching Sunsets, Shalichta, Karina, Sitting, Akumgak, Ian, Driving Around, and then Ian after Karina, Ian driving around, Ayang Sasta, Andrew playing games, Akwit, Macarlo cooking, Knechta, Charlie sleeping, Awachta, Nate technology, Gashuk, Isabel plants, Naunrak, Clark's Point, Jack, Hunter, Bisuchta, Alexis, baking, Knichta, Logan, music, Atuchta. And that's all the students that we have with traditional names for this class.
Thank you, Margie. I know that was a little bit of a struggle there with the connection. We got so lucky the first few classes. All right, it looks like everyone's sticking pretty busy here. I am going to see if I can't find a video. So if you all give me a second, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I am going to see if I can't find a video of some traditional song and dance to play while we're all carving here, and that, you know, kind of bring that aspect too. Go ahead and do that, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that. So everybody stay busy here. Give me just a little bit, and I will chime back in here shortly if I can find something. Alrighty, well, I pulled up a video from BBNC that is the blessing song. It is their that they do, and I hope I pronounced that right, Margie. You can let me know maybe in the chat if I butchered that. And I will go ahead and share this screen again and see if we can't play that while we're carving, everybody.
We are the Bristol Bay Dancers, and we're going to be performing which is a purification and blessing song. It's known across the Yupik region, and it's used to purify and bless. So I guess we'll start.
Tonight on Arts at 360's Alaska Originals, we'll hear music from the Inuit cultures of Greenland and Alaska. We'll meet the band and we'll learn what inspires their style. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bamiwa.
Jayu la kungu nangayangai. Jayu la kungu nangayangai. Ya yenge khaya. Ya yenge khayangai. Ya yenge khayenge. Jayu la kungu kunangayangai. Jayu la kungu kunangayangai. Jayu la kungu kunangayangai. Ya yenge khaya. Ya yenge khayangai. Ya yenge Yugi Yamanga Husaramkan. Yugi Yamanga Husaramkan. Kara Uten Kaki Wich Bamanga. Ya yenge khaya. Ya yenge khayangai. Ya yenge khayenge. Yugi Yamanga Husaramkan. Yugi Yamanga Husaramkan. Kara Uten Kakanach Bamanga. Ya yenge khaya. Ya yenge khayangai. Ya yenge khayenge. Jayu la kungu kunangayangai. Jayu la kungu kunangayangai. Jayu la kungu kunangayangai. Ya yenge khaya. Ya yenge khayangai. Ya yenge khayenge.
Thank you. Buyana. Can you say Buyana? Buya. That means thank you. We don't really have a word for you're welcome. We just go E.
Uh-huh.
It's like uh-huh.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That song is in the Yupik.
Some people go psh.
I think that's maybe a new thing.
That's me.
That song is in the Yupik language, and the three of us are from the Yupik region of Alaska, and we're very proud and honored to be sharing songs from our area and our culture.
Yes.
And the songs that we do are when we're closing our eyes. That's a very special song. It's like we're up on stage with us, our family.
Our ancestors.
Our ancestors.
Yeah.
It's an ancient song. This song was taught to us by Steve and I, our brothers. This is Aussie, one of our distant relations, and
Very distant.
And our Steve, our mother Marie Mead taught us that song, and we grew up hearing her sing it. And she sang it with a group called Nunupta with Chuna McIntyre, and so and he would explain it as an ancient Yupik melody.
Yeah.
So, but the song, we call it pulling.
Pulling from within.
Because the lyrics that it's talking about is pulling pulling. It doesn't really explain what it's pulling, but our mom says it's pulling strength from within.
Yeah.
So we love to start off with that song. This next song that we're going to do is a little less ancient song, more contemporary, and it's a song that Aussie wrote, and it's called
All day I want to sleep.
All right, let's do this.
Hernach baka kawagan lakto, hernach baka kawagan lakto, hernach baka bujika yudo, waye cheya, taklayuch baglo, ye hernach baka kawagan lakto, hernach baka kawagan lakto. Chica, you don't. Why you Dakla you baglo. Arnak Chica, you don't. Why Dakla you baglo. Kailak tak gabaklu, demliuk baktu, dan gerakan lu, genak bacilutek, hernak baka, pucika yukto, wayeheya, baklayuk baglo, hernak baka, kawagalak hernak baka, kawagalak Hernach baka puchika ayudo, wayeheya, daklayuk baglo, dom taluka hui, akum gagnak ngakma, ayala yukto. Hernach baka puchika ayudo, wayeheya, daklayuk baglo. Hernach baka kawagalak hernach baka kawagalak hernach baka puchika ayudo, wayeheya, daklayuk baglo. This next one is Alohu, which is dip nut. It's actually my very, very first Yupik dance composition I've ever made, like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah. And it's about
Dip netting for
hooligan, right? Yeah.
Yep, for hooligan.
it's about that time, right?
Yeah. I have my dip net ready too. Alohu ayeyura. Kaluhu ayeyura, jognelo yolungkun. Kaluig meka, kaluig meka, kaluhu ayeyura, kaluhu ayeyura, jognelo yolungkun. Kaluig meka. Aluing meka, ilu qasriqa bignatul hanglut kamqa akeni. Aluing meka, aluing meka, aluhu ayeyuga, aluhu ayeyuga. Jognelo hanga yolungkun, kaluin meka, kaluin meka, Snenika hivram chalrik, jarman ram kwa chinguraki, kaluin meka, kaluin meka, Aluhu ayeyuha,
Oh, yeah.
You know, today, but this is actually our 20th year being together as of like right now, this moment.
Yeah.
Ever think we'd make this far?
I didn't think we'd make 5 years, let alone 20.
Well, back in the day, we came, actually our very first traveling
tour,
gig,
yeah.
our very first tour, we came here to Juneau and Sitka and the Southeast, and we performed at the Juneau Legislature building, which
Yeah.
the Capitol building.
Capitol building. Yeah.
And we performed there, and not knowing that it was going to be aired like for forever.
I would have worn something different.
But it's good memories. But we started off a cappella, and our songs, these songs that we've done tonight are all dance songs. And so
That's our inspiration, is like our traditional dancing. That's where is our base of where our music comes from.
but we're not going to do it now so that you'll be able to, so that you will invite us back so that we can dance next time. But
Come to the dance workshop.
But believe the songs come from this dance tradition, which is really alive. You know, it's really, you know, because there's these songs that we're sharing, but they're also, you know, there's the people out there that are watching the dance, and then there's the people dancing, and there's motions that are going with the lyrics to the song.
drummers and the singers.
And there's drummers, and so there's a lot going on, and it's a really beautiful theater that happens, and so we find inspiration from that, and those are the songs that we do. And so we've been doing that for 20 years.
20 years. And this song that we're going to do, Jakanahua, is about not losing that culture. Like, it's where's my drum is what it translates to, and it's about basically just holding on to the culture and never losing that drum. So it's Jakanahua, which we haven't sang in a long time.
Old school. It's been 20 years since we did this song.
This is the very first song we actually sang.
We did this song in Juneau back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day. So let's try it. Yeah.
Yes.
With a cooler belt.
A different hairstyle too.
Yeah, for sure.
I can grow a beard now. See if I can do this in right key. It's all on me.
My drum. Where is it? My drumstick. I keep on losing it to nothingness. My family, my teasing cousins, and my ancestors. All right, well, we're going to invite some friends of ours. You know, after 20 years singing a cappella, it was nice to bring in other musicians, and we've been very fortunate over the years to be able to work with incredible musicians all over the world and world-class musicians, but now we have to resort to these guys.
By the way,
just kidding. These
By
guys,
the way,
these guys
they're-
are the
We
best.
got Joe.
I'm just gonna put it on pause really quick and just check in with everybody. Just make sure if anyone has any questions or anything, let me know. It looks like everyone's sticking pretty busy, and that's good. You know, kind of carving away and getting these things all done. Sanding, you know, if you get to a point where you feel like you can start sanding down your mask, feel free. You know, just go ahead and start. You know, start doing. If you can see on the screen, I'm actually working on mine too a little bit. Starting to sand it down a little bit. I got the lower mouthpiece. I'm starting to sand down, and then I'll probably sand this down a little, and then I'll kind of redefine the ledge here, the little bit of a lip there, and then I'll probably do the same thing. I'll start sanding down this kind of in this area, and then redefine that if I have to. And it's just kind of a step process. You know, do a little bit of sanding, and then see if you can sharpen any of your lines again. As you can see, you know, I've got a little. As you can see, there's a little bit of a deep ridge there, and that's kind of what I was talking about, making these things kind of pronounced. You can see the profile view of how that's coming along. Take a look there. And then I'll just kind of show you, kind of get you a good angle on this too, see how deep that is, kind of carving that in. Now, a lot of you guys have really carved in deep too. That's really good. There's some couple different masks there as well. And that's fantastic. What I've seen, the examples I've seen so far have been just awesome. So good job, everybody. I'll go ahead and put the music back on, and I'm keeping an eye on the chat. If anyone has any questions, or raise your hand, and I can pause the music as well.
Folks.
by the way, they're kind of like Yupik in training. So
This is our good friend, our brother from another mother, Ivan Knight from Anchorage. This is James Domick Jr., also from Anchorage, originally from Kotzebue. So this song is actually our very first album, Lungaluni. It's the first song on our first album, and it's a very beautiful song, and it's a springtime hunting song about geese flying in the air, and they're flying and they're circling in the air. And this song was composed by the late Teddy Sundown, and it's probably about 80 or 70 years old now. And the song talks about two different types of geese in the verses. And there's a chorus, and then there's a verse at one point. We'll go like this one. It's the first verse and the second verse. First verse talks about an emperor goose circling. And at this point, over there, when we call the emperor goose, it comes. So the song's a hunting song. So the song, he shoots it down. In the second verse, a Canadian goose circling. At this point, he was sitting down, and even though he didn't want Canadian goose, it still came to him. So he went and hunted it down, just like that. Oh, it's so lovely. Nice.
Angala chi chong hip ka dai ho mana nu
Uyana.
I thought he was gonna shoot. He usually does at the very. Such a beautiful song that he's like. It is a goose hunting song.
By the way, they just started returning to, like I called my brother from the village and he saw some geese and I was like, hunting time.
So this song is called Jawiyaka Malikaka. It's another song about the drum. And it says, my drum, I carry it with me everywhere I go.
Jawiyaka Malikaka.
And I kind of, we do it literally, or else we wouldn't have a job. But I think it's more, it's also metaphoric. It's like inside, you bring your drum with you everywhere you go. And, you know, I like that.
That's a deep.
Mm-hmm. So this song is composed by Daniel Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kuya Daniel.
Jokes.
All right, I've seen some great examples coming up, guys. That's awesome. Takes a little bit of time. You know, I'm slowly working on mine. Kind of, like I said, I started sanding things down a bit. Now I'm kind of redefining the lines there. Gonna make those a little bit more pronounced, and I'll sand it down a little bit more, and kind of go as we go here. And then I'll look at putting the eyes in eventually, and then we'll be pretty close to being able to decorate these. Oh, good job! I see that. Cool. Oh, and you see, I want everyone to take a look at this one that over there in Port Allsworth, they actually put that ring around the. A lot of the time they use bent wood to be able to put that bent wood ring around there as part of the regalia for the mask. That's awesome. Thank you so much for showing that. Great example of that. And so wasn't able to pick up any of the rings to ship those out. Oh, good job. But those are something that you'd be able to pick up, or steam wood. That's how they used to do them. You steam the wood, and then you're able to bend that and mold that. Good job. Cool. Steaming the wood is also the way. I don't know if any of you guys see the Alutic bentwood visors. My grandfather makes those. There's not very many people out there who still do, and that is something personally is one of my goals is to learn how to make is those bentwood visors. And those bentwood visors, they would steam the things, the blanks of yellow cedar. So they would carve them down, and then you put some strategic little grooves in it to where when you steam it, you're able to fold that in on itself and bend it. and he bends them around the mold and then lets them set, and they become those bentwood shaped visors, and those are really cool. And one of these days, that would be something I'd love to be able to teach, but I got to learn how to do that myself. It's a little bit of a process. So I will go back to playing the video. If there's any questions, please in the chat or just raise your hand and I'll keep an eye out.
So there's another song that we learned from Tuna McIntyre, who's originally from Eek, Alaska. And you can Google map that, Eek, Alaska. I don't know how many people live in Eek. 500 maybe? Okay. Wow, it's a big place. Yeah. Oh, no. I didn't know. I haven't been there. But this song, it's Squirrel. I think he calls it the Squirrel song. But we call it the Squirrel Trap. Because you trap squirrels, so we're like Squirrel Trap. So I think
We used to call it the squirrel hunt.
it just sounds...
We don't want to be known as squirrel hunters. We hunt more substantial game than that. The great squirrel hunters. The mighty squirrel hunters of Bethel. Look at them. In their natural habitat.
Squirrel Trap.
Hey, Justin. Hey, would you mind on your picture thing? Could you stay on that one? The black and red one? Yeah, the top one.
Come on, you can sing it.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Did we introduce ourselves? I'm Philip.
That's Philip.
Stephen.
Gitap.
Stephen.
Ajung.
Asi.
Asana.
Yeah.
And we are.
Boom.
Drop it. Drop the mic.
So bumyoa is an Inuit word, actually.
Yeah.
In Greenland, northern Canada, in Siberia, part of Russia, and Alaska.
We all have
in
the
our
same-
Inuit language.
Pretty much the same language, different dialects and stuff.
So the word itself, bumyoak, means its tail.
We get a lot of Snickers when we travel.
Did you turn around?
Oh, yeah.
Can't just let us expose ourselves.
It's his tail right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's so each one of our our all of these different regions and different cultures up in the north, the Inuit cultures, we all have our own traditions of singing and dancing. But Yupik, where we're from, we have our own particular way of singing and dancing, and we have these songs with verses. And so we have these verse songs, and of course there is an end to the song, so there is a tail. So in our language, in our culture, the tail of the dance and the song is the bumyoak. Yeah. And so it's referring to the tail, but it really, you hear it when you're at a big dance festival, and it's like the big climax, there's so much energy, somebody amazing's dancing, or there's some kind of something happening, and it's just the best, and then you don't want it to end, so you say, bumya! And it means do it again.
Encore kind of stuff.
And so when we were thinking of a name, we're like, that sounds like a lot of energy. That's a good idea. So
I kind of like the tail end idea.
I don't know. I don't have much. I need as much bumyo as I can get.
Well, I mean, we are half black. Come on. So you're probably wondering with music, what inspired us was our mom. You know, we told the story that she was singing these songs to us, but also our father, and he's a minister, and so we grew up in the church singing church songs, you know, and gospel songs, and oftentimes we in the beginning we were in a small little church, and me and Philip were pretty much the choir. so we just grew up singing. So we just mixed those. We were just mixing the two styles. We were just like singing our Yupik song and then putting some like kind of soul and gospel into it, and we thought it kind of sounded cool. So
well, and also in the villages where we're from, there's big church influences. There's a lot of hymns and there's a lot of singing, and there's a Russian Orthodox Slavic tradition. It's a Russian Christmas, and that we grew up going to, and the harmonies and the singing where they're singing the songs in Russian. It's like it's our own kind of Russian. Yeah, Yupik Russian. And then they would sing it in the same song in English, and then they would sing the same song in Yupik at these house parties that we would go to.
Maybe we'll do one later, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. But this song is called. This next song is called. This is a song I wrote called "Perpetual Continuity." It's just like "Imumichbak" is what it is. The name of the song. It's just about our life continuing always.
As the wind blows cold, swift and clean like a knife, tearing through my clothes and deep into my soul. It's the ways of my people, the people of North, strive together so strong to give and put forth. Sing now, you get how you get, how you get, how you get, whoa, you get how you get, how you get, how you get, yeah. As we dance and sing, dance with all our might, our songs unto God, oh, to Him it feels right. That's how it's done in the Inuit way. Tells a story of life from day to day. Singing now, you get how you get, oh, how you get, how you get, yeah, oh, you get how you get, oh, how you get, how you get, yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah. Here's a river to widely sluice. Each current provides not just a food route. It swoops with grace that reflects our lives. Remembers of all the help will survive. Sometimes a day we lose our sight of how we have to make things right. Get back to what hands came from years. Create a flow of happy tears. The streams that feed throughout our land will nourish and serve now every man. And although we've turned from us to me, the spirit light will always be. And you get how you get, how you get, how you get, yeah, you get how you get, how you get, yeah, you get my what I got, you get my what I got. You give me a mouth, what I got, you give me a mouth, you get how you get, how you get, how you get, you get how you get, how you get, how you you hear my Wisagam Kana, you say, yeah. You hear my Wisagam Kana, you say, yeah. You hear.
That song perpetually continues, doesn't it?
It just keeps going. Do another verse. Bump me up.
So we, growing up in the bush, of course, we love reggae.
Of course.
Yeah,
Come on, it's natural.
Iluman.
It's like an island, It's really dusty. I don't know if that means anything. But this song is called Rise Up, and it's kind of reggae inspired. So. Can you hear that?
Rise up,
I go
rise up,
off me bone.
rise up,
I grow
rise up,
to me toe,
rise up.
to the sea. Respect, won't you please rise up? 'Cause I know rise in the way to go. Rise up, just another day on life's rooftop. Here we say, little children don't drown. Mother of the sea, she's crying a song. Humanity is quickly our way out, so I say, rise up. I go, rise up, about me bone. Rise up, I grow, rise up to me toe, rise up to the sea. Respect, won't you?
Juppiugugut, jukkait kut guihpiit imach piimslu. We are the Yuppiid, the Inuit of the great river deltas and the sea. Akkatamani, in the old days we lived by the seasons of the game and the fish and the gathering. We gave festivals when the seasons came and went. We made stories and songs and dances about our lives, and for the dances we made masks. The Yuppiid, the Yupik Eskimo people of southwestern Alaska, occupy the vast stretch of delta land poured into the Bering Sea by the Yukon and the Kuskokwim rivers. They are the heirs of a rich and varied culture, and their heirlooms, especially their masks, have found their way into the great museums and collections of the world. The masks are called kinakok, a thing to cover the face. They are carved of driftwood, painted with clays, and decorated with hoops and feathers. They represent men and animals and creatures of the imagination, the unseen world, things known only in dreams or visions. Whatever a man might see in his mind's eye, whatever shape he could hold in his imagination, the adze and the curved knife could shape from driftwood. The masks might be funny or frightening or full of spirit, but they were always magic, the magic that comes of being able to exchange one face for another, to become, if only for the space of a dance, another person or another thing. Seen through the eyes of a mask, the world becomes a magical place. When the missionaries came, they looked at the masks without favor. It seemed to them that the masks were too much a part of the old world, the old beliefs. They saw the magic in masks not as a part of a people's spirit and imagination and art, but as superstition and idolatry. And so, little by little, as the people took up the new religion, they put the masks aside. In some places, even the dancing stopped. Everywhere, the people stopped dancing with masks. There's a traditional Yupik story how the crane got his blue eyes. It tells how the crane, out picking berries one day, took his eyes out and set them aside to watch for danger. Someone stole the eyes, and the blind crane had to pick blueberries and use them for eyes instead. That's what happened to the masks. Someone stole their eyes. Masks were still made by masters who remembered the great mask dances, but they were no longer made with eyes to see with. They were made as wall decorations and works of art, art for tourists and collectors. They no longer needed to follow the shape of a man's face, to take the grip of a dancer's teeth. They no longer needed eyes to see with, painted eyes would do. Sometimes when a thing has lost its original purpose, it lives on as a model or a toy or a stylized representation. It comes to have new and different meanings. The old meanings are lost. Mask carving even evolved into a new art form, a kind of sculpture that strayed farther and farther from the original purpose. It was art and it had its own validity and its own purpose, but it was no longer mask making. That's how things came to be. The masks lost their eyes, and fewer people remembered the magic in the qazgiqs when dancers could change their faces and sing the stories of another world. That's how it was until the fall of 1982, just before freeze-up in Bethel. Bethel is a small town on the Kuskokwim River, the trade and transportation hub of the Yupik world. People come to Bethel from more than 50 villages in the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta. They come to buy and sell, to go to the hospital or the college, to pick up cash at seasonal jobs. Bethel attracts people from all over the region, some looking for the new world, some bearing parts of the old one. Among them are the dancers and carvers who make up a loose-knit group known as the Bethel Native Dancers. The Bethel Native Dancers have been together for years, and little by little, they pull the strands of traditional culture together from all over the Delta. They're the keepers of the old dances and songs, and the creators of new ones. They pass these on to any young people who will listen. The older dancers remember masks, and they wanted to see them again. With the help of a grant from the Alaska State Council on the Arts, the Bethel Native Dancers embarked on a project to revive the use of masks in their dances. They had encouragement from artist Ron Sinangatuk, a teacher and specialist in Eskimo art.
Among all Eskimo people in the world, this area had the most complex and most imaginative type of mask that was made by Eskimos. They were highly developed art pieces, or the pieces that they interpret for their own use, but we interpret as art pieces. They're very highly developed, which are now world treasures in the museums.
Sinangatuk particularly stressed the importance of returning the mask maker's art to a community purpose.
I'm really excited to see that the mask project will take off and go on just because you want to do it for yourselves.
The Bethel Dancers commissioned traditional masks from 3 master carvers, Nick Charles Sr., Kay Hendrickson, and John Kusawiak, known locally as Uncle John. In the old days, the selection of masks for a ceremony was the province of Angalkuk, the shaman or magician. From dreams and visions, the shaman would describe the creatures of the spirit world or the animals and their yoa, the human-like spirit that dwells within him. The shaman might carve the mask himself or describe his vision to a master carver who would interpret it for him. Kay Hendrickson remembers.
Not everyone made masks back in those days. You wouldn't make a mask unless you were a shaman or unless a shaman asked you to make one.
This time, the dancers, carvers, and elders met together to choose 3 masks and the dances to be performed with them. Although the finished masks are to be the property of the Bethel dancers, leader Dick Andrews reminds them that things weren't done that way in the past.
These masks were only used once, and after the dance was over, they would give it away for a toy or etc.
Indeed, many of the masks now found in museums were given away or sold after their one-time use in a dance. True dancing masks are too rare and too valuable these days to be discarded after one dance. The Bethel dancers will use them in a major performance and hopefully for years after. To ensure that the art itself will continue, the group brought in promising apprentices from regional villages to learn from the masters. And while the carvers set to work, the drummers, singers, and dancers prepare for the performance. The material for the masks is driftwood gathered on the riverbanks and beaches. There are a few trees in this tundra world. The carvers select tough stumps, saw them into blocks, and hew them into shape with the adze. There are no drawings and no plans. Each carver holds the image of his creation in his mind's eye. If his vision is a strong one and he holds it firmly as he carves, it will emerge from the wood. For the apprentices, this is a time to watch. In this ancient system of teaching and learning, there is little explanation. The student asks few questions. Each motion of the master carver is minutely observed. When a step seems clear, it's time to try for yourself.
I began by making my own bows and arrows. My father didn't make them for me. Later, I realized that it takes hands-on experience to learn to use tools like these.
There are no penalties for error. An apprentice learns by observation, by trial, and by making mistakes. A beginner would not be criticized for a mistake that might ruin an entire mask. The only failure is giving up. Patience is the first lesson of this art.
I didn't get much instruction from my father or the other men. I learned the most by trying to make things for myself, remembering what I'd seen and how the work was done.
It's not an easy way to learn, especially for students used to the Western way of education with explanations, answered questions, clearly outlined steps. Here, the student must use the Eskimo way of watching, the eye that captures every detail. By observing and then trying each step, the student discovers the process anew. There is room for error, but there's also room for innovation. In trying each step for himself, the apprentice may find a better way.
My father used to say, you can't learn by doing nothing. You've got to make an effort. That way we learn.
Once the basic shape of the mask has been hewn from the wood, most of the finer work is done with the curved knife, the milkak. This handmade tool dates back centuries, from the time when the first fragments of iron made their way from hand to hand across Siberia to the traders of the Bering Sea. With its short blade, the curved knife is a reminder of the days when iron was more prized than gold. Guided by the carver's thumb, the curved knife can be one of the most precise of tools, a cutting edge, a gouge, and a plane all in one. In the hands of a novice, it seems a stubborn and dangerous thing. In the hands of a master carver, its razor-sharp edge is a point at which imagination becomes reality. In the old days, this work was done in the qazgiq, the communal house where men of the village ate, slept, made tools and equipment, and told stories. Those stories might be funny or serious, fanciful or historic, but they were at the heart of the Yupik educational system. From the stories heard in the qazgiq, the young learn traditional wisdom and values, how a man should live, work, and hunt. The qazgiq is no longer the center of a man's life, and education is now the province of the village school. The stories these men tell often hark back to more traditional times.
We remember seeing our elders, the first generation. Everything then was made from wood, all the everyday implements. They made kayaks, fish traps, spears, spear throwers, oars, everything from wood.
Bowls, spoons, and ladles, those were some of the things made for women. A husband would make sure his wife had implements for everyday living. He made sure she didn't go without. Crafts weren't made for money back then. Everything was made for the family's use.
Those people were like that, those that we saw, the first generation. They weren't rich. They lived in difficult ways. Things weren't easy for those elders.
As they talk, the individual masks take shape. Nick Charles carves the face of a famous shaman, the man said to have predicted the coming of the white man. Kay Hendrickson carves a seal mask, and Uncle John shapes the face of the snowy owl. Although these men have carved many wall masks hanging now in museums and private collections, this is a far older art. It calls on long-held memories of how to shape the carving to a human face, light enough to wear and open enough to breathe through. That's achieved by hollowing the mask out, trying it on, and trimming until the feel is just right. Then comes the detail that makes all the difference, the carving of the eyes. To cut holes for human eyes is to give the mask a life and purpose that no wall decoration can have. The face is that of a dream, the eyes are its spirit. Each mask is also equipped with mouthpieces, small pegs that the dancer can grip with his teeth. In the old days, this was said to be a trick of the shaman to make it appear that the mask stuck to his face by magic. The final touches are now added to the masks. The owl.
All right, everybody. Well, it's been a long day of carving. I know everybody's probably tired. And I hope you just guys noticed how they talked about the mouthpiece. This is something Margie and I had talked about beforehand, was that the mouthpiece was something that they could use in the mask itself to hold onto it and grip it as they would dance with it. And as the video was saying, you know, it's almost like a magic trick of the shaman that they would be able to have this mask with no strap, you know, stay with their face. I think we're at the point now we're probably going to go ahead and start cleaning up. If everybody wants to kind of just clean up their work areas, and it looks like everybody was making great headway on their masks. You know, I was working on mine here, and I'll swing that back down to the hand cam. You know, I'm just kind of got the ridges going, and I've got kind of some sanding down to it. I'll probably do a little bit more sanding on it, but I'm also starting to think about the eye placement and where I'm going to start really working on the eyes. And then what I'll do with this is I'll get it all kind of sanded down and smooth, and then we'll kind of work on the little pieces of it and the definition of it. And then once I get all that doing, I'll go ahead and do the, oh, great job, Perryville. I'll go ahead and do like a stain on mine. I'll probably do a stain on mine and let that dry. I'm going to try and do that over the weekend. That way next week I can actually just work on the painting here with you. And like, you know, one of the things that I like to do as a mask maker is that I like to let the wood kind of shine. So I'll do a stain, and then I will just do like painted dots and some painted stripes on it. And that would be the most that mine is. But, you know, feel free when you guys go to decorate yours to do any kind of full painting or however you feel that should work out. And that's perfectly okay, and that looked fantastic. And I just want to thank everybody for their hard work today. I appreciate everyone staying here. I know it was one of those days where we like to talk about quiet time, where everyone's busy working. And if anybody sees, oh, great job. If anybody sees any material that they would like to use to make a ring around their mask, that's always, really popular. So you can always look for that this weekend too if you wanted. Well, thank you everybody again. Thank you all for your hard work. I know it was one of those kind of more tedious days. If anyone ever to make a full mask, what really gets kind of, trying when it comes to patience is when you use a crooked knife to hollow out. You have a full block of wood and you just sit there for hours with your crooked knife just hollowing that mask out, thinning it out to make it, wearable for, someone.